welcome to another exciting edition of Business Digest with Tish. Today we are discussing event management and planning. We are looking at the importance of event management and how best we can make some very good cash out of event management. I had a very interactive discussion with the general manager of Touchpoint Magna Carta. His name is Mr. Clarence Amoatey. Let's get talking. What is event management? Could you please give us an in-depth definition of what event management is?
Creating an experience that will eventually move a business objective closer to its main strategy. So that's what event management is. So we don't see it as putting 10 chairs and fabric swags and music. No, that's not what we do here. We look at the entire business objective and we tailor strategies to meet it through events management. So it's actually more skill, is the skill, is the learning, and you have to have the passion to be able to succeed in this. Elsewhere, they are doing degrees, they are doing masters, they are doing PhD programs in events. But in Ghana, we are still doing short courses in events. But in Ghana, when you come, all we have are short courses. And there are 2-week short courses in events management in this country. And we think that we need more than a short course to teach events management. So you see that when you go to a class, it's people who do decor, people who have sound equipment, people who, for want of a better word, haven't found any formal employment and think they can start their own business. And it's funny, people who think they can start their own business, the first thing they look at doing is events management. No, it's actually more skillful than being unemployed. There are those who are in the class and then these people actually sit and try to teach them. You see that what you get out of those classes are not like what you get out of those people who take event management as serious.
So are you suggesting that we should have event management as a course on its own?
Yeah, once it's being done in other countries and it's actually fetching them a lot of money, we should do it here too. I agree.
Do Ghanaians take event management seriously? Do we give it the needed attention?
It's not an event management issue. I think it's a Ghanaian issue. Everything we're okay with mediocre. Once we're able to fill the hall, we're okay. But the process starts from when somebody hears about your event, the experience the person gets, what he should expect when he actually walks into the event, the experience. I mean, I go to events and I'm frustrated because a national theatre which has a seating capacity of 1,482 seats, and somebody will do an event and sell 1,800 tickets. I get frustrated because you have a lot of people who buy tickets and can't get seats in, and that's part of the management. So you need to actually know how many seats your venue can sit, what is your exit route when there's a mishap, and then what experience are you creating for the people. So here what we take serious is we shouldn't create the same experience twice, even on the same day. Every experience should.
Is everyone cut for event management?
Right. I'd say it's like marketing is like communication in the past. Before, every MD thought he could be a marketing manager. Then the people realized that marketing was a specialist skill. Then every marketing manager thought he could be a communication manager. And they realized that having a mic in front of you is actually more than a specialist skill. You actually need grace to be able to meet or face journalists like your type. Events management, everybody who does decor or can afford to buy a ribbon and a plastic chair thinks he can do events management. But that's not events management. It's not putting 10 chairs in a room. That's event management.
Talking about reputation management, in Ghana, do companies take reputation management seriously?
They run to you when they have crisis. That's when they realize that and it's interesting, it's most of the indigenous Ghanaian companies who don't take their reputation serious and they run to you when they have crisis. Most of the multinationals, because they're used to a certain kind of reputation management in their countries of birth, take reputation management serious. But a lot of the indigenous companies who you expect know the terrain and should actually do the best practices actually don't take it serious and they see it as waste of money. And they're the first to run to you when they have crisis.
What are some of the crises they encounter?
this is difficult because any crisis I give will give my client away. Yeah.
Just give me a general one which runs across most of them, please.
So let me take food poisoning from a drink, beverage company, FMCG, and a pack of products produced in a certain, they didn't meet the standards and had some point, and people took it and had issues with it. So if it started as an issue, maybe Kumasi, that pack went to Kumasi. By the time it gets to Accra, it's a full-blown crisis and you need to manage it. But the people in the country the people in the company wouldn't send this to their corporate affairs or PR manager ASAP. It will be with the pack manager, those who are in charge of the floor when they're doing the beverage. Then it will go to MD, then it will go to legal because they think people want compensation. By the time it hits the media, you see that it's not legal or MD. It's affecting your reputation, which will affect your sales, and it can shut down your company.
Being an event manager, what are some of the things you have identified amongst most companies in Ghana which you think must not be done but is being done?
Having a flat event without an experience. So having an event to launch, let's say, a car, and you come and do the usual, and you launch the car, and people leave. They won't remember what happened. They won't even remember the name.
What should be done?
You need to know your target audience, and you know when they are most paying attention, and how creative you could meet them. So everything is creativity, strategy, and the business objective. So when you have these three in mind, all your events are across those lines.
Has government created a platform for event managers to bring their ideas on board?
I don't think it's a business for government.
Why do you say so?
Because I think government's business is to make the economy grow and to let we, the event managers, produce good events as private citizens that would and make our businesses grow and pay more tax to the government. So not directly, government doesn't directly impact on our business. But when they have a good economy, when private people can come and build a 10,000 seater capacity in this country, we'll create more content to fill the 10,000 seater capacity. And out of every ticket we sell, we pay a percentage to the IRS, which will directly benefit the government. So yes, when the economy is right, we would strive as private institutions.
I have a company.
Okay.
I want to do an event. How do I tell whether this is a good company to go to plan my event? What are some of the traits of a good event planner?
They have good experience on their side. So, and then the people behind. So if you come to us, let's say Touchpoint, Magna Carta, and we show you our showroom, some of the events, and I'll show you before you leave some of the events we've done. You see that this is a company that has been in the market for quite some time, and that refreshes every idea they lay their hands on. So you see that not two events we do are the same. We try always to create a different experience. You look at the setup of the business, of the events management company, and you look at what else do you look at?
Sometimes I think companies look at the budgets, the costs.
That's wrong. I always tell my clients and other people, don't let the cost influence your decision. Let the idea influence your decision. So if we agree on an idea and we think it's too expensive, we can come out with ways to lower the idea a bit, but to get the same impact at a lower cost. But if your first focus is cost, you would have events in July outside and it will rain off. And you realize that you were saving cost, but your event didn't happen. Because the event manager doesn't know that he should check the weather before every event.
Oh, so the weather is key.
It is. We always check the weather. We check the weather. We check everything, and we try to use a disruption model in all our events where we would do something that will stick to the minds of all our patrons.
Okay. What are some of the key questions to ask an event manager who you have hired to plan your event?
What event have you managed before? What are your processes in managing an event? So for us, our unique processes, and it's unique to us, we have a model we call the risk model. So it's the research, insight, strategy, and creative outputs. So we get our research. That's when I spoke about the competitor and what they're doing. Then insight, who are your target audience? What are their likes? What should we expect from them? Then we come up with a strategy that fits into your business objective. Then we come out with our creative output. So what are the models the event manager uses? What's the size of the team? I've already spoken on what they've done before, and then what they can offer you that's different from what the others are offering.
I know that some people hire event planners just because they have organized an event where the president or the first lady has attended. So, on that, it is assumed that they are good event planners. Do you think that is something to consider?
That's actually one of the easiest events, because when the president and the first lady are coming to an event, the state protocol will take charge of certain aspects of the event. So it actually limits you to see the success of those events. But when you have an event that the president and the first lady are not attending, but you have to turn something up to get good reviews, that's a difficult event to turn out. And if the person has been successful in that, he can handle your events.
Advising companies who do events without consulting event planners, what would be your piece of advice to them?
It's doing the same thing, expecting different results will never happen. You need to engage somebody who would give you different results. And the results we're talking about should be linked to your business objective. Because event management shouldn't be just putting money out there, but it should have a return on investment.
Have you ever attended a well-planned event in Ghana before?
There's some very nicely well executed events we have in this country. And there are some others that you ask yourself, who did this and why did they do this?
When you see events that have gone really bad, because you're an expert, how do you feel when you see such events?
I itch, I cringe, and I leave the place. I leave. I won't stay to watch you try to bury yourself. I'll leave before you bury yourself.
You feel pity. Do you feel pity for the organizer or for the company?
Both of them. For the company, I asked, why did you do this to yourself? For the organizer, I'll say, I sing this song. And I learned that from a competitor events company who actually came for my client. My client went to him because of costs and didn't look at the idea. So fortunately, I was invited to that event. The event was well attended. ACs went off, generator went off, everything. So I was leaving as usual because it was so bad. Then I met the organizer. So what happened? He said, hey. And then and then it became a laughing stock. So anytime I see events go bad, I always sing that song.
Have you ever advised an organizer whose event flopped? Like, have you ever worked to him as an expert? Oh, brother, can I have a word? Have you ever done that?
I do. I mean, so my colleagues in the office, my family tells me it's difficult to go for an event with me because I won't sit. Because when I go and I think you can do this, I walk to you and say, I think you should do this. And because we've been in this industry, and it's a small industry, so the vendors are the same. So you get somewhere and the sound guy is somebody you just worked with yesterday or you've been working, so he greets you and everything. And you're sitting there, you think the sound is a bit too low and you can't find out. And I walk to the guy and I said, I think you should increase it a bit. I think you should leave a bit more light on stage. MC, I think you should engage more. I think you should add this light. But it's not your event, but you're just helping for the success, because it's a small industry, so we kind of know, the good ones kind of know each other.
Have you ever had your opinions rubbished by an organizer who feels you think you know too much at an event, when you think something is, like you said, maybe the music is too low or too high or something? Has your opinion ever been rubbished?
In this country, yes, so everything is possible. Even when your headmaster is talking to you, you think he's talking too much. Yes, there have been times when the guy says, okay, then he secretly tells the guy, don't mind him, he's talking too much. And because the guys we work with, they tell each other, he said we shouldn't mind him.
Do you think that is good for business?
I think because it's a growing industry, so we're learning. So all this will come up, but it's how fast we learn from these things that will guarantee how fast and how well we'll grow.
Should you have different event times for different events? Maybe there's a forum, there's a concert. How should you time your event?
So if I'm doing an event for high network and my event is at Labadi Beach, I know these people are busy people, and then they work around Ridge Airport Laboni. So you get those information or your research generation. You know it will take about 30 minutes to get to Labadi from airport. So, and office closes at 5. So you just start your event at 6. So that would inconvenience the people you've invited. And I think when you give your patrons a time to start at 6 o'clock, I think it's just fair on all event managers to start the event at 6 o'clock. I always walk to all my clients, when an event is supposed to start at 6. I walk to them at 10 to 6. I say, sir, we said we'll start at 6. Do I have your permission to go? He looks and says, give me another 10 minutes. And I note it down. 10 minutes, approved by clients. We were ready to start at 6. But the person paying the money says, give him another 10 minutes. If you don't give him, you can't pay yourself. So yes, but I think when you give patrons time to start, it's just fair you start on time.
Let's say the president gives you a microphone today. Change something about event management in Ghana. What would you change? Or what would you add to it?
Very controversially, I will pull down the conference center and the National Theatre and build bigger auditoriums that are multi-purpose auditoriums. I won't have those stagnant statues sitting there.
So you're saying the National Theatre and the Conference Center are very small places to organize events?
Very. I mean, we can't have only National Theatres, a country of 20 million, 6,482. The Conference Center has 1,000 chairs there. So if you're doing your own event, you have to bring an extra 400 or 600 chairs. It's not for a country of 20 million. And we have a private individual who did a dome that could sit 4,000 people. And we've let the dome to rot. It's not fair. If I had the opportunity, I would fix a multi-purpose auditorium. I will fix the Trade Fair Center, and it will generate a lot of money to this country.
So have you ever enjoyed having an event at the Conference Center or the National Theatre?
I enjoy what I do, so I enjoy all my events.
But I thought you said if you had your own way, you would have pulled down. So it means you are doing it, but not from your heart.
I mean, you are denying a lot of people the opportunity to have the same joy. If 2,000 people want to come and watch, and you don't have a seating capacity for 2,000, you can't let people come and watch. You know why the Stanbic Jazz Festival was created over 3 days? Because the demand that was coming for tickets could not fit one show. And you know what it did? They had to add 2 more days to the show. So it's 3 days. And then you have to pay the artists for 3 days, which is not fair. But if we had a big auditorium, 1 day, dead, good show, we're all gone.
Is it advisable to involve family in event management or planning? Let's say I'm your sister and I cook, or I'm a caterer. Is it advisable to involve me in your business?
You cook for me at home. I won't give you business.
Why?
Because if you are not professional or you delay by a minute and I'm supposed to shout at you Or, I mean, first of all, you shouldn't delay by a minute. But we all know our situation with Ghanaian caterers who always delay when they're supposed to bring your food. And I shout at you, might affect our inheritance our father left for us, to affect our relationship. But if we see it as clear business, I contract you, I pay you 50%. You deliver at 4 o'clock, you take your other 50%. You deliver at 4:10, you take 40%. You deliver at 4:20, you take 30%. You deliver after 5, I don't pay the 50%. And it's business. It will work.
So you think Ghanaians are always wrong by involving family in business?
I don't think it's a good idea. Because we need to see it as business. And there's no way you can see your family as a real business person. You can't withhold money as a punishment from your wife. No, because you need her business to grow. So what you can do is to enable her to build her own reputation on her own, and she'll get other businesses.
What has been challenging for you since you started event management here? Your most challenging moment?
It's our level of growth. So we attend seminars, we attend workshops, elsewhere we go and learn all these fantastic ideas, and we come back and we can't use it because you go and you are taught about somebody flying from the stage and you think it's a wow, and you come back and you are asking yourself, is it the National Theatre stage or the Conference Center stage the person is going to fly from? So yes, you get the opportunity to go and learn, but you can't use them because we're boxed in a little hole, and it's a problem. Let me digress a bit. Something just came to mind. So the hotels realized that we didn't have venues, so they were building venues to help with our events industry. So the first venue we had in this country was La Palm. Could say 350, 400 people. I am talking on the Ada, not the garden, Ada. Then we had Moving Big, was coming to build a hall, and they built a 500 seater, with tables, 500 people. Then Labadi said, look, 500 is too small, we are coming to build a hall. And they built 600. Then Kempinski comes, we wait, hey, Kempinski is coming, 700. So we are interested in adding 100. When you go to our neighbor, our brothers here, Echo Hotel, is it Echo in, I think it's Echo in Lagos.
Nigeria?
Yeah, on the island. They have a 5,000 seater hall. And that's what we need in this country. That's what we need. Because when you have a big hall, our ticket sales will come down, events will be cheap, and everybody can have fun. And we'll pay more tax to the government.
Wow, hotels must improve.
Our venues must improve. Because the hotel's main mandate is not to provide halls. So not the hotels. They came to assist, but unfortunately, assistance to some way.
Why do you think you won the best event management / planning at the recently held 40 Under 40 Awards?
I just have this thing behind my head that even if you're called to sweep the streets, sweep them so well that the day you are not there, somebody will ask, where's the guy who used to sweep the streets? I think every chance I get to organize an event, I put in my all, and that's what has brought me this far.
So finally, what's your advice to companies, businesses, people who want to go into event management? What's your advice?
Events is actually serious business, and you need to understand that it's actually business. It's not for fun. It's not an unemployment stopgap measure. It's actually serious business. So you need to understand how businesses operate to be able to succeed in this industry.
And do you have any appeal to government or something?
We need bigger auditoriums. We do need bigger auditoriums because we have the talents in this country. we don't have the talent also. We have the talent in this country. There are people who are flown out to go and manage other events outside from Ghana, and they don't get those chances to work on those events in this country. So we have a lot of talents in this country. We just need auditoriums to showcase what talent we have in this country.
What is the next big thing we should expect from Touchpoint?
Let's go with Shatawale. We're taking over. We're taking over. We're still going to try to create different experiences for all our patrons. We're still going to make sure that events in this country is not seen as a joke, but a serious business that can have a relationship on your investment.
I'm really smiling because I guess you really enjoyed the interview with Mr. Clarence Amoatey. Always remember to log on to www.kasapafmonline.com or Tish TV every Thursday for interesting stories in the world of business.